Good morning, friends and subscribers to my channel. Thank you for sharing your feedback on the things I posted. I appreciate it very much. I want to encourage you all to subscribe to this channel because some information of value will be shared from time to time. It is my desire to make a small contribution to the dialogue affecting our people and affecting the world situations. Of course, at the moment, the very hot topic that is all over the world is what seems to be the unfair treatment of blacks by whites. And that is not going away anytime soon. In fact, from the time of our enslavement to this day, spanning nearly 500 years, that has been a very hot topic. The problem is, though, from time to time we raise the topic, it becomes a subject of heated debates, and then we allow it to die down without any fundamental change to whatever the situation is. In the wake of the recent filming of murders committed by police officers in the United States, the call again is out there for the removal of hate symbols all across the southern part of the United States and elsewhere too. These are referred to as Confederate flags, Confederate monuments, Confederate statues. And basically, what this is all about is that there are people, or there were people, who disagreed with bringing slavery to an end. And they fought to their last breath and have lost. Even though they have lost, and enslaved people have been freed, the flags under which those persons fought are still in existence. And there are still people who are waving those flags. There are persons who have erected monuments to these persons and these persons' statues. Military bases of America have been named after some of these persons who fought to their last breath to keep blacks enslaved. And so the call is going up all over the world that those flags, those monuments, those statues of those persons should be discarded, should be destroyed, should be removed from public and prominent places. It sounds as though it's a just call, but something is going through my head that's puzzling my mind greatly. One of the things that I am not hearing entering into the discourse is the fact that those persons after whom these Confederate flags, monuments, and statues are named are persons whose names some of us have. Because let's make it abundantly clear that the names, surnames, and even Christian names to some extent, and middle names that many of us have been given are from these persons. So if you your foreparents work on a plantation owned by Cameron, then your name would be changed, whatever it was. Lumumba, whatever it is, Biko, Mandela, whatever it is, it will be changed to the name of the slave master because we were chattel slaves. We were animals. We were cattle, animal like that. And so your name would be changed. So you'd be called Cameron, you'd be called Campbell, you'd be called Jones, you'd be called Williams. All these are names of slave masters. If it is important that we remove the names and statues of these people from buildings and from sites visible to the public because of the wickedness of the persons who bear these names, how is it that we are not calling for a renaming of ourselves? Why are we not first and foremost removing these Confederate names from our own selves? Why should I continue to be called by their name while at the same time I am clamoring to move their statues from public places? Does it not seem like an anomaly to you? Something is seriously wrong there. And I am making the point that until we collectively, all of us who have been enslaved in the Western world, be brave enough to change those persons' names as our names, we can't be free. There is something in the name. It is a fact that in marriage, for example, the woman changes her name and adopts the male name because it was intended in the beginning as a sign of ownership. We are living in a liberalized world where things have changed and people no longer see a woman as owned by a man. But in the beginning, in the genesis of it, that was the idea, that a woman was owned by a man. So whatever her name was, her surname would be changed to the man's surname because she now becomes the man's property. That's what it was. So even though things and times have changed and we now soften those terms, the reality still remains that a man takes a woman in marriage, her name changes and become his because of the relationship they share. Now, we don't really do that if a man rape a woman, force himself on her. We find names for that. We call it rape, battery if it's more than one person, molestation, incest, depending on the set of circumstances into which it happens. But our foreparents were just raped. The names of strangers were forced upon them. And so their children, their descendants, us, inherit those names. So I am asking you, brothers, you sisters, you listeners, you well-wishers, why should we be insisting that Mr. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so name is removed from a building because they own slaves? Why should their name be removed from a military base because they fought to keep slavery intact? But at the same time, we comfortably wear their name as our surnames, and we're comfortable with that. I totally agree that these Confederate monuments, flags, images, statues should be removed. I agree with it totally. But I am saying, how can we be demanding their removal when we still comfortably wear their names that was forced upon us? Our parents were raped, they were abused, they were humiliated. Their religion was taken from them. Their names were taken from them. Their diet was taken from them. Their religion was taken from them. And we had forced upon us, foisted upon us, new religions, new names, new diet, new culture. And so we are now living as a lost people. We're really lost. And that is why we, as a race of people, blacks, we don't seem to have a single religion to galvanize our energies around. We practice religions belonging to just about every other race of people. You see some blacks that are Hindu, you see blacks that are Muslim, you see blacks that are Christians, you see blacks that are Confucius. You just name them. You see blacks that are Shinto. We gravitate toward all the major religions of the world because we have lost ours. We have lost ours. And as a consequence of that, we find ourselves fighting among ourselves. We are disunited. And so the unity that is required to free ourselves, to free our minds, to free our souls, to free our spirit, we lack that. The great, most honorable Marcus Garvey said that the black race is weak in the essentials for success. And that is true. So, my call today is that simultaneously with our calling for the removal of all the names of those persons who support racist ideas, who support the enslavement of black people, that their name, their statues should be removed from public places as a sign of protest that what they did was wrong. I am also calling on us simultaneously to try and remove those persons' names from our person. Because it is worst for us to be wearing their names around. It doesn't matter how many buildings we strip their names from, but we still wear them. And so these wicked persons are immortalized in our souls. The buildings can be destroyed. Earthquake can shake down a building. But their names and what it stands for is immortalized in our souls, in our heart, in the deepest recesses of our person, as long as we continue to wear their names proudly. That's some food for thought. And so I leave you to ponder these things. I ask for your feedback as usual. I ask that as you listen to this, you hit the like button and you subscribe to this channel and you also share the information with others. Until we link again, walk good. God bless.